Hi everyone, today I am tackling a topic that we can all use that can save us from financial stress and anxiety, and that is emergency funds. Why they're important, how to build one, how much you actually need, and I will be going over my breakdown and setup of my emergency fund. If this is something that you're interested in, please keep watching.
See, baby, I'm debt free. Me and my family aligned to live abundantly. Just take it from me. That's how we do it. Budgets of freedom.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Budget to Freedom, where I discuss all things related to personal finance, whether that is cash stuffing, budgeting, saving money, all while documenting my debt-free journey with a goal of quitting my corporate job to live a life more along my terms and align with my God-given purpose. If this is something that you're interested in, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to start off with what are we celebrating today? That is something that I have incorporated on my channel to make sure that we are celebrating those small wins and that we are encouraging ourselves along our debt-free journey. Today, I want to celebrate. I actually canceled my Amazon subscription Prime membership. Well, I didn't cancel it, but they allowed me to pause the membership. I just did a video on how I lowered my expenses last week. I'll make sure to link that in the description box. But this is another expense that I was able to lower. So I paused the membership and was able to save $14.99 a month from doing that. Let me know what you are celebrating in the comments so we can all cheer each other on this journey and make sure that we have a community that all supports each other. So let's get right into why we're here today. Life happens fast, and sometimes it can happen really fast, whether that is due to a medical emergency, a car repair, or for unfortunately losing your job. There's a number of different things that can come as an unexpected expense or an emergency, and we want to make sure that we are always prepared for that. First, let's just start off with what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is money set aside to cover unexpected expenses such as medical bills, car repairs, job loss, an unfortunate death. It provides financial security. So essentially, it is just the same for us setting aside money in our seeking funds or different savings accounts for expected expenses. It's just the same, but just for those unexpected expenses. We want to make sure that we are covered no matter what life throws at us. Without an emergency fund, these situations can throw us into debt or back into debt and really derail us from our financial goals. According to Bankrate's latest survey, 56% of US adults lack the funds to handle an $1,000 unexpected expense or emergency. And one third of that, so about 35%, said that they would have to borrow money somehow to pay for that expense. I have even seen sources say up to 60%, but I didn't want to go with the conservative statistic. But we want to make sure that we do not find ourselves in that situation and that we are prepared and don't just become another statistic. So here's the deal. The emergency fund acts as a safety net, giving us financial peace of mind and preventing us from relying on credit cards or loans when unexpected strikes. I found myself in the same situation. I was 100% consumer debt free. I was paying on my student loans. That's the only debt that I had left. I paid about $30,000 and then was laid off unexpectedly for about 7 months. I had 6 months worth of an emergency fund, but I had to start relying on credit cards and other forms to try to make sure that I could survive. Thankfully, I was able to have that 6 months. So I know some people in the financial world or Dave Ramsey say that we only need $1,000. That personally does not work for my situation. And that's why personal finance is so great because you can tailor it and cater it to your personal financial situation. So once I did get a job again, my pay was way less than I would normally make. So I still kind of had to resort to savings and credit cards. And this just brings me to how much should we save for our emergency funds? The size of an emergency fund depends on your personal financial situation. As I said, that could be $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. You have to really sit back and assess all your expenses and how much that you think you are trying to save for. I know it can also depend on what industry you're in. My personal industry, it can take longer to get a job depending on the job market. I know there's some industries like healthcare for nurses or physicians or teachers, those jobs may come a little quicker. So maybe you will only need to save 3 or 6 months worth of expenses. For me personally, my goal is to save 1 year for my emergency fund. I'm going to focus on my emergency fund just as much as I'm focusing on paying off debt in 2025. But my goal is to have 6 months worth of expenses saved by the end. And then in 2026, I will extend it out another 6 to make a complete year. There are several ways to help you build out your emergency fund. So now let's just talk a little bit around strategy of building the emergency fund. So first we want to set realistic goals. Decide on a target amount based on your own personal situation. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. Number 2, open a dedicated savings account. Keep your emergency fund separate from your everyday checking account or savings account. That really reduces the temptation to dip into your account for non-emergencies. Also, if you would like, you can automate your savings. You can set up an automatic transfer from your checking account into your emergency fund every day on payday. It doesn't matter if it's for $1, $5, $50. Anything to really start helping build that out is always a plus. For me, my goal this year is to set up a high yield saving to put my emergency fund in the bank. I have been keeping it at my house as I just put money towards it every time I was able to. But going into 2025 is another goal. Every time I get paid, I will be contributing to my emergency fund. This is something that I am also doing. Number 4 is to cut back temporarily on your expenses. As you all may know, if you have seen my previous videos, I will be doing a no spend January, also a low buy 2025 year. So I am cutting back to really focus on putting money towards my emergency fund and building that out, and also paying off my debt. But you can cut back on dining out, cancel unused subscriptions, and redirect those savings straight to your emergency fund. Number 5, for any additional income that you receive, whether that is a tax refund, a bonus, birthday money, Christmas money, if you have a commission job and get a commission check, put that towards your emergency fund, because that is going to be maybe unexpected money that you are not expecting to receive. So go ahead and just put it towards your emergency fund or debt. I will be putting all unexpected income into my emergency fund and also to paying off debt, to open up a high yield savings account this year so I can start making money on the money that I already currently do have. But the goal is to earn a little interest while keeping your money safe and available. Some common mistakes that I try to avoid with building an emergency fund is using it for non-emergencies, for vacation, a new gadget, just anything that is not an emergency because you have this urge and really want to buy or go somewhere. Neglecting to rebuild. So for my personal situation, like I said, I was laid off. I used my whole 6 months of emergency fund. So now the past year and a half or so, I have been rebuilding my emergency fund, and make it a priority to replenish it. And then over savings. Once you hit your goal, focus on other financial goals like paying off debt, although that is parallel with me building my emergency fund. But it can be, other financial goals that you may have. You don't have to just keep saving everything for an emergency. So let's get right into my personal emergency fund, how I am going to set mine up. I just want to go over that with you all. And first, I actually want to add, what's today, the 29th, I think, or 30th. So Amazon Prime, I just want to make sure that I'm keeping up with my expenses that I lowered. And this is going to be, so it was $113 when I had just went over my expenses last week. And now if I add the $14.99, that comes to $127.99. And this is my new savings on my lowered expenses. I'm going to continue to add to this list throughout the year. Hopefully I can find some more savings. And I knew I will, because like I said, every 6 months or so, I reevaluate my list and kind of look at that. So for my personal emergency fund, as I mentioned, I am trying to save 2026, I want to have a fully funded 1-year emergency fund. For my monthly deposit goal, I just want to, every paycheck, make sure that I'm contributing at least something. So I'm going to put every payday here. And then I have the best and worst case amount. So first thing you want to do is write down all your expenses. So that is what I am doing now. I have my rent and then the amount for 1 month, right? So I have rent, I have utilities, and I am putting aside about $300 a month for utilities to make sure that I'm covered if any emergency. Groceries, and I am allotting $160 a week. So 160 times 4, that is going to be about $640 a month. All right, and then my car note is $296, $36. And this is why you want to make sure that you revisit your emergency fund breakdown often, because a lot of these will change. Right now I have a car note, but with my goal to become debt free next year, I will no longer have to have money set aside for my car note. So the money that I do have saved in this category, I can reallocate it towards another category that I may not have enough saved up yet. All right, so my car insurance is $46. If you all did not see my video on lowering my expenses, you will see that I got it lowered to $46. I have never seen car insurance that low. When I tell you I was so excited about that, I was so excited. You also want to make sure that you put your minimums for any credit cards, loans, or debt that you may have. I totaled mine up and mine did come to about $1,400 a month for minimums. Now, this does include my student loans. As you all know, right now I don't have any payments due or no interest, and that is just until they finish finalizing everything on my account. So I don't know when they're going to add the interest back, and when they do, how much my monthly payment will be. So I made sure to just put in, I kind of went high, but just bake in what I think that amount could possibly be. And then I have gas, so I want to make sure I can still get around, and that is going to be $200 a month. My cell phone bill, this is another expense that I just recently lowered and got it down to $69 and some change, but I'm going to allot $70 for that a month. Internet, which is $125 a month, and then life insurance, which is $100 a month for me and my mom, and that is just for my portion. And the last one that I have is subscriptions. I totaled up all my monthly subscriptions and it came to about $38. I'm just setting aside $50 just in case. Now, sorry, this is going to be my worst case. So what I mean by that is I have these expenses that if I'm able to save, these are going to be my priorities with saving. First, if I'm able to save this, I am happy, and I know that this will be like my bare bones. I also have a few items, I also have a few expenses that I would like to still do if I were ever put in emergency, and that is going to be therapy is one. Now, this will go under my best case. So if I'm able to save for all these, this is what will go under. Okay, and that is going to be $280 a month. And then I have a date night and $150 a month. Now, if I am in a real emergency and I have, let's just say the best case, I have saved for all of my items on here, I probably will still not use the money on like beauty or date night just to make sure that everything is under control. But I just wanted to do it. And then we have just in case. And this is just for anything. If I want to do something for entertainment, if I missed anything, I just want to make sure I have additional money. And I did allot $300 for that. Now what you do after you have all your expenses written down, the amount for 1 month, you just take that amount and you times it by 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. I want to make sure that I have 6 months. This year is the goal, but 12 months will be my ultimate goal that I would like to complete in 2026. So now let me add everything.
Assets, investments, cash flow, lost savings. I'm wealthy, no changing. Yeah, I'm debt free. You can live a life with a healthy relationship to money.
Okay, so I'm finished totaling up my expenses for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. What I did was the best case and worst case down here. So for 1 month, for my best case, if I could afford everything on the list, even the extra therapy date night beauty, it's going to be $6,107. And if it's just my bare bones essentials, it will be $5,227. I just divided that by 3, 6, and 12 to get all the totals. So for a full 12 months, which is my goal for 2026, the best case will be 73,216, and the worst case will be $62,656. So a few things to keep in mind. This is not a luxury, it is a necessity. This is something that we all should have, right? I'm going to revisit this quarterly because these amounts are going to go down just because I will no longer be paying these minimums and credit cards and student loans. So that is going to be a big reduction. Also, if I have rent may change, groceries, subscriptions, all this stuff can change. So just make sure that you are constantly revisiting it to update it, as well as if you are trying to figure out what you should put for like utilities, things, bills that constantly change monthly, just look back at your last 3 bills. You can take an average or you could take the highest amount just to make sure that you have everything covered. So now I'm just going to do my best case for 1 year will be $73,216, you all. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely going to maybe need even longer than 2026. And my worst case, which is going to be my main focus, will be $62,656. Now, at 6 months, that is going to be about $30,000. I feel like I can possibly save that in 2025 in addition to paying off debt, but we will see. All right, you all, and there you have it. That is my emergency fund for breakdown for 1 month to 12 months, a full year, which is my goal. For me, this is my biggest priority in 2025, along with paying off debt. And it's a true game changer for financial peace of mind. Start small, stay consistent. Now, this is a big goal, right? So I'm just going to start off. I already have some saves. I'm going to go over my emergency fund on one of my next videos to see how much I have and where I'm at now and what will be the goal that I need to save for the full 6 months for 2025. But you can start how you want to. Don't let this be an overwhelming process and watch it grow. That's what we're going to do our 2025. Just watch it grow. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, drop a comment below. Let me know how much you need for your emergency fund, how many months you need it for, and the dollar amount, or just let me know how you broke your emergency fund down. I hope this was helpful for someone out there that may be struggling setting up their emergency fund on how to do it. But I will see you on my next video. Thank you so much for joining me today and spending some time with me. Bye.
Budgets of freedom. That's how we do, that's how we do. Budgets of freedom.